What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, getting you on the grind and improving your mind every single video or podcast that we do. So we have a very interesting stream for you guys today. We're gonna have some fun, and by fun, we're gonna do a roast of me, your your favorite YouTuber ever.
Your favorite ever.
So for some context, I the other day, by the way, make sure you guys hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you've not already. Show support for us today because we're going in on ourselves or myself. So basically, there was a few days ago, I was curious. For context, a long time ago, we did a podcast with Playing with Fire, Alex from Playing with Fire. Shout out to him. Big shout out. He does his like these live streams when it comes to like speed dating. So he gets some kind of girls on, and then guys take their turns. They go in and they try to seduce the girl within like a couple minutes. And then at the end, which I did not realize, is that Alex comes in at the end of the speed date while the guy's still there, and he critiques how the guy could have done better and all that. So cool stuff. So and now I think it's very good for a man to get out of his comfort zone. So when I saw this going down, I was like, well, I might as well get out of my comfort zone because I've never done anything like this before. You know, we got the mics, we got the time. It was happening. They were live. I was like, all right, let me go in and see what I can do. So I did. And it went absolutely not good. Not at all. I was absolutely out of my element, which is good because a man needs to be taken out of his element so he can learn and become better and build as a man, mentally and physically, in all realms of his life. So I went in and I got completely destroyed by two girls and the live chat at the time, which is great because it was kind of a thrill. I think I enjoyed it. You guys are going to see my reaction. I was kind of like dumbfounded by the whole thing. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And, so my game, right, was not as good as it could have been, was not at all good as it could have been. And you guys are going to see for yourself. It's complete cringe, but also fun because sometimes you just got to laugh at yourself. And sometimes things don't always go the way we plan in our heads. So when I was like thinking about how this would go, I was like, oh, because he gives you the option. As those two girls available to do a speed date with, he was like, you could choose one or the other, or you could choose both. So me, my cocky ass, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on date with both. Yeah, why not? Go big or go home. And plus, I think he was choosing the ones that were going for both the girls at the same time first before everybody else. And I'm very impatient, so I got to go in now. Like, so I was not really prepared, so I kind of wanted to just go in. And so, Mike, what's your thoughts on the context of the speed date?
Yeah, let's just go in there and let's take a look because it's a whole big thing. Like we're
gonna pull it up on the screen for you guys.
Alex is a whole show, and there's a lot of guys that come on, and so I have it set up to where it's just after the guy before Andrew comes on. And
so these are the two girls
the stream that's here is almost 3 hours long. So like that's how many people were in here doing this. So let's start it.
Let's bring on this dude. He said he wants to go on date with both of you.
What's up, Andrew? Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm Mike. So you said you want to go on with both girls?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's see what happens.
So let's pause it here. So that's to me. That's a post to me. I feel like I'm in a time machine right now. It's kind of cool. The internet brings out the most life. So yeah, I actually found out that the girl on the right, Josie, I didn't even know this, but I found out after the fact she's an OnlyFans girl. So I was like, oh, even better. Great. I chose it. Well, we'll get to that later. But so once again, I was completely unprepared for this, which is good because once again, I think that sometimes like you need to be a risk taker as a man. You need to go in, give it your all, whatever you got, and just kind of get used to things. So it's like the first time I ever approached a girl in person. Completely frightening. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had to go in, just say hi to her, because if I did not only would I be more down on myself that I didn't go, and I would have been filled with regret, but I knew that it was going to make me stronger. And then I started doing it more and more in person. And then same thing with like online dating. You get better with your texting skills and all that. But in here, it's kind of different because the dynamics are different in the sense that there's like during the live, there was like about almost 300 people watching me. I've never been watched by 300 people before, not even at one of our streams. So to me, when I seen that, I was a little intimidated. I was a little nervous, which is okay because I think it's natural. It was my first time going into something like this before. seeing 300 people. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. So what I did, because I wanted to see the reaction from everyone, see how I was doing, because I thought it was very intriguing. So while I was on this, you can't see it from the view, but I had my phone also viewing the live chat when this thing was going down. So what the first mistake I made was not being completely in the moment. So a lot of you guys, when you go and talk to girls in real life and not on a speed date online, is that you're not talking like you're not talking to the woman, you're talking at the woman, and you're just kind of not even truly in the moment, and you go berserk and you're trying to think of all these things to say. You're so much in your head that you completely forget about what's going on the outside. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, you're because when because when you have your phone out, and because the element of doing this in comparison to actually being outside and doing it in real life is completely different. So because that there's so many other elements that are going into this, because these women are like on camera, like they're not next to you, they're not in front of you, they're somewhere else, they're in their safe space, right? And you are in your own space, and you specifically when you do it on like a live stream with where there's like a live chat, sometimes you completely forget that what you're actually doing, and sometimes you just want to look at the chat to see what the chat is saying, and that's just not always the best thing to do, because then you're not actually paying attention to the people that you're trying to have a conversation with. And if you don't pay attention and engage to the people that you're having a conversation with, they're not going to respond the way that you want them to. And they're not going to respond, and they're not going to have a good sense of communication between you and them. So, well, it's a good thing that you brought it up front, because you will see it in his in his conversations with these people. But a lot of people in real life, if they try to do this, right, if they, let's say someone actually decides to go up and talk to a girl, most of the time they'll be on their phone. They'll be, they would have been on their phone. They're like, hey, how are you? And then they, and they try to go back to their phone. They're
Yeah.
not actually having a
And
conversation.
it's very easy to get nervous in these kind of situations because a lot of guys, like most guys, are intimidated by women in general. But it's a little bit different when you're going on a thing like this, when there's so many people viewing it, and a lot of the times you'll be in your head so much, you'll be thinking more about the people watching you rather than what you're doing yourself, which
Yeah.
could be detrimental. So me being enamored by the live chat took me out of the focus. So we're gonna see how this conversation goes. Absolutely cringe, and I would not recommend any of you be as cringe as I was. Hopefully you guys would do better than I did, and in the future, if I decide to do it again, I will also be better because I am learning and I'm a student of the game, student of life.
Yes, as we all are.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Good.
Not bad, not bad. We both know each other, or you just randomly just happen to run each other on the stream?
Just randomly met each other.
Genuine
That's
curiosity.
cool.
What are you both from?
You can go first. All right. Originally from Washington State, but I live in Kentucky right now.
All right. And you?
I'm from Kansas City.
Both gonna be a little plane ticket for New Jersey, but it should be interesting. All right. So what do you both do? I missed out on the entire conversation. I've never actually done one of these things before, so I don't know the format. I'm just kind of winging it. So you both from?
Which is
you
true.
both do. I think you said you're in the military, right?
I am.
Oh, that's see, hit the pause button. So here, all right, guys, I got to hit the fail on myself. It was during this moment is when I started looking at the live chat. So I automatically started getting out of the conversation, and I started looking at what people were saying, because I was just kind of like, this one I just started to lose focus. I'm not sure if like maybe the conversation wasn't automatically starting off to what I had envisioned, so I wasn't even too into it, I guess. I'm not really sure. Once again, this is kind of like my first time going into some kind of online thing. I'm just like, because I've always approached girls in person, so when you go from that to like an online thing and you're not even focused on the two girls and you're more focused on the chat, that's not good. It's not a good sign. So so that was an L for me already. So I also was saying things like because I wasn't even fully in the conversation at this point. So it tells you guys that I was not even sure what to say, which brings out the nervousness and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of guys do that, like you guys, when you don't know what to say and you're sort of in your head, that's when you kind of start pausing and you start doing all these things. So I was not completely in the moment, and it affected everything. It affected the vibe, it affected the energy of the conversation, and it affected the way the chat would have responded. Which, by the way, you should not care what the chat says of any YouTube show you're going. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It does not matter. What matters is what you're doing and who you're talking to and what you're trying to convey about yourself and all the situation that you're going through, not what other people on the internet say. Not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like doing what?
Right now I'm just helping with like army recruiting. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to say I do not want to join. I can't do it. The pause, but the reason I said that, what I should have done. Now I got to correct myself. You're gonna find out when Alex critiques me later. But what I should have done, I should have made a joke out of it, and I should have been like, Alex. I don't want to spoil it, but Alex gives you guys something good that I could have said. But I could have said, I could have made it into a joke or something like that, or I could have spun on it in a certain way. Like, there's so many conversation starters that can go with the military, like anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're gonna get me a free uniform, or how long you gonna be there before? Is it true about the slumber parties that I hear about? And like, there's so many things that you can go in that direction. But what I said
was, you still get military discounts at places.
Yeah. You're gonna give me that military discount at Wendy's? Like, I could have said so many things, but it's funny because we talk so much shit about the government on our channel. So I was in that mind frame. So I was about to start lecturing this girl about, oh, well, our military is kind of fucked because they're trying to go to Ukraine. I was about to go just insane. I was about to go bonkers and just go into like, oh, well,
saying some dumb stuff.
Yeah, I was about to like, oh, so yeah, I was just gonna completely ruin it. But I had to stop myself. So because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna go into that. So that's one of the reasons I stopped there. Because I was like, oh, I was gonna make a joke about like going, you're not ready. Are you ready to go to Ukraine or something like that? But I was like, oh shit, that's not seductive. That's not gonna be good for the viewers, and that's not gonna help me at all. So I had to like retract my own thoughts.
Yeah, that was gonna make the chat laugh at you and not laugh at.
Yeah, and it just would have been dumb.
It was not even good.
Sorry,
but don't be disappointed. How about you? What are you doing out there?
You asking me?
Yeah, like for work.
Oh yeah, so I'm in college. I'm a marketing major, and I work in retail at the moment.
Hit the pause button. Okay. She did not disclose to me about the OnlyFans part.
So marketing. There you go.
Marketing. What I should ask. So what are you marketing?
What are you marketing?
And she works at retail, which just shows you that any girl working at your local retail could be showing her ass on the internet for money. Which listen, if I was a girl, I'd be doing that too.
That also means that companies, retail companies, do not pay their employees very well.
Yeah, obviously not. So another fixing that we need to do in this country. So at this point, I think you guys can sense this conversation is already going stale. I wasn't even into it, and I could have done a lot better. And there is just not too much of a sexual vibe here. I don't even think they were that attracted to me personally. I think the camera angle could have been better.
Yeah.
And I kind of look like an alien for some reason. I don't know why. Like I look like I'm kind of drunk, or at least higher. I don't know why. I'm not very good. Like, if you guys see me in person, you'll know that I actually look different in person compared to like what I do in the camera. For some reason, I'm not very photogenic. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm coping. I don't know, but just my opinion.
Could be cope.
I could be cope. But let's keep going. Okay. I mean, Madison kind of gives me like the party girl vibes. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what you guys.
Oh, you're so wrong.
Doing the military. Boy, was I wrong. It's military when you're not like exercising, doing all the. I'm sure it because like when you're in the military, it's probably like a stressful environment. So I'm sure like when the sergeants are gone, I mean, you gotta have like. Do they have military parties and stuff like that? I know they got the ball, right? Or maybe
people in the military.
Because I actually do wonder because we've talked about on this channel how like hospitals when they get overfilled and like there's so many stressful people and coworkers in there, like all the staff and the nurses and everything. So then because I know and then they'd be fucking like behind the scenes and all these nurses in the hospital. I know what happens. Don't lie to me, guys. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to bring that. I want like at this point, it doesn't even feel like much of a date. It's more like a friendship kind of like thing. Because I don't know. Because I already know that they live out of state. Right. They're not in that. Listen, if they were in New Jersey, I think I would have had a different kind of frame and I would have went at it things differently. And we could have talked about the location, the water, the beach. Like there's so many, but the fact that they both live in different states. Because usually my conversation in person, when I talk to a girl, you have to do with like our surroundings and stuff and like what ethnicity they are and like what they like, like to do. But they're in different states. So in my head, I'm like, well, I'm not going to meet these chicks most likely anyway. So I was like, well, I guess let me see what else I can come up with. So at this point, I'm not really, I guess, 100% into it. Once again, my game could have been better. So I'm not saying I'm this this women's ladies man, and I always know what to say because I'm not perfect, of course, and my game does need tuning, obviously. But yeah, so let's keep going.
They love to drink. It's a huge culture thing.
I bet. Oh. And Josie kind of seems like more the innocent, like go in the back of the class kind of vibe, which kind of cool. It's actually, that's what I thought. Is that accurate, or is it different?
Not really accurate. I do like to go out. I'm very much an extrovert, but right now I would say more introverted, just in the setting that I'm in. But
it is important to know all the girls that always seem quiet and shy. They're crazy. They are nuts. So this is just something I wanted to do for fun. I wanted to see if I can get a little fun out of them. But they just seem very mellow. I mean, I was too. It was kind of like this is kind of a boring conversation. Yeah, and Mike, what are your thoughts?
And you also got to think about it this way as well. These two girls are on a panel. Think of it as
they know they're being watched by almost 300 people.
They're being watched by a whole bunch of people, and they have to repeat themselves many times on like specific basic details about themselves. So when they get through like 4 or 5 people, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm from here, I do this. They're going to be a little bit more monotone with having to repeat a lot of those things, and it's not always because of you specifically. It's just because it's just how the brain works on having to repeat itself multiple times. It becomes monotonous to where it's like becomes boring. So like it's not, and it's usually not because that you're boring. It's because it's because they have to repeat themselves.
That's a good point. And we're already like an hour and 22 minutes in. They've already had to talk to a bunch of guys. And here I come being kind of boring. Like I could have been a lot better. The camera angle could have been better. My interaction could have been better, and I could have done things differently. So that is absolutely true. That's why we're doing this stream, so you guys can learn from my mistakes.
Exactly.
So you must be a little nerve-wracking for you to be on something like this, right?
A little bit nervous, but it's been fun so far. I like it.
How many guide speed dates you've been on so far? I didn't even know.
None. This is my first time doing this.
Okay. How about you, Madison? Is this your first playing with fire stream?
Yeah, it's the first
one. Oh. Any good experiences? Good feelings so far? Good vibes?
There's some cool guys.
Yeah.
This is just boring, guys. Don't be like this. Don't be boring like I was. Just don't do that.
Probably the best thing they could have done was like be like, tell me about where you're from. I want to know, like, you could have just said something about like,
I could have said anything else
about like they're like where they live, and then you could have brought up like where you live, like, oh yeah, I live by the water. Nice view of New York City.
I could have told Madison. Well, I could have told Josie because I already assumed. No, Madison, because I already assumed that she was kind of a troublemaker. I could be like, you sure you're not like a troublemaker? She's like, no, I'm not. Well, like, well, you look kind of toxic to me. I was like, oh, well, and then I could have like, well, you like Irish? Like, I could have so many different conversation points I could have gone in, but I went so basic on this. And once again, I'm also looking at the chat, react to how boring I am. The guys are like, this guy sucks. Like everybody was just like against me. So I was looking at that and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, well,
this is great.
Now, once again, I want to, because a lot of guys, they'll get emotional. If they saw the chat, what the chat was saying about me, they would have gone completely off the, like, oh, what are you fucking guys in the chat saying about me? And then they would have completely forgot about the ghost. So at least I didn't even mention about me looking at the chat. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, because actually that's a good thing that you brought up, because I know when we reviewed a lot of the streams for the Pineapple Show with Melly, shout out to Melly, that a lot of the guys that are on there doing those shows, when she brings up the chats, she brings up like specific comments, and sometimes the guys will get distracted and start commenting on those comments and not talking to the girl, and they'll get themselves distracted. So like you bringing up that point is actually very valid, because a lot of guys, they'll just completely go off topic because they see a comment that's about them, either making fun of them or whatever, and they get off topic, and then they pretty much ruin their shot.
I was so intrigued by the amount of people watching and the live chat and how that was going that I completely lost focus on the girls. And I think one of the reasons that's because they're literally in other states, and most likely I'm not getting a plane ticket to go to Kansas City. I'm not going to do it, and I'm not joining them. Damn right, I'm not joining the military, especially for a woman. Not doing it. I'm not going to fight in Ukraine to get some pussy. I'm not going to. It can't be me. So maybe some of you guys, well, I ain't going to do it. So I already know I'm not going to meet these chicks in real life anyway. So I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't, my energy was not as it could have been, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
So far.
That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I was just boring. I was just boring.
Literally. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like, no.
The worst thing you could do, guys, is bore a woman. See, look how bored they are. Just like, okay, this guy is not interesting.
Yeah, and like
it's interesting.
Also doesn't help that you're chewing gum as well. I feel like I feel like chewing gum is like at least
it kind of like because a lot of people chew gum when they're nervous, so it kind of made me look like a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Which is half true because I was a little nervous, but I wasn't like, oh my god, you know, like
you weren't pissing your pants.
Yeah, because I mean, I talk to girls all the time, and Mike literally sees me do it in real life, so he could vouch for me. He literally knows. I was just kind of like, I was very calm.
Doing it on a live stream is completely different in comparison to doing it anywhere else. I mean, like I think about it this way,
and knowing I can't even get.
I feel like it's more nerve wracking to do it on a live stream with a whole bunch of people than it is to actually go up to a woman and like on the street, because at least on the street, like there might be people that might see you, might watch you, but that is like,
but no one's saying like, oh, this guy sucks.
But that also like the amount of people that are watching you paints a comparison to the amount of people that would be on a live stream of you doing it, especially also the fact that you're on a double date. You're on a date with two people at once. Normally you don't do that. You only talk to one person. So like you have to not only have a conversation with not just one person but two people, and you have to keep it entertaining for both of them. And you're not doing that at all. Which, I mean, it's very hard to do it in the first place. A lot of people could be like, "Oh yeah, I could totally do that." No, you can't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's very, very challenging.
I guess you could say, you have to have really advanced game, more game than I have. Now, I have a little bit of game, and I have some good methodologies of how I talk to girls, and I have my own style in a way, but I still have work to do. And many of you watching this also do. So don't let your ego think that you could just take on the world so easily, because when you're being viewed by 300 people and you got two girls that you've never met from different states, that's probably not, and one has an OnlyFans I didn't even know about, things are going to go different than you expect. So my ego was just like, yeah, I'll take both of them, no problem. I didn't really think about how it would go. I was just like, yeah, let me go for both. Why not? Why have one when I can have two? You know what I mean? Kind of mentality. But you have to have a little bit. It's a lot different because you have to mix and match them a little bit better, and then you have to get at least, and one of them might like you and the other one don't. The dynamics could be so much. It can go in any direction. What I should have done is I should have just chosen one and just kept it between one and one, because when I approach girls in real life, I only go for one. I don't go for a whole group of girls. Like, all right, I want all of you to be on my bed by midnight tonight. Like, I don't do that. If I ever approach a girl in real life, or at a bar, or at the park, or anywhere, like ShopRite, it's only one. Like I have eyes on one, and I'm only trying to seduce one. Here, that's two. So the dynamic completely changes. And most likely, I'm not gonna have a threesome with a girl from Kansas City and a girl in the military. It's not gonna happen. No. The odds are against me. Everything is against me. The chat is against me. The environment is against me. And I am unfortunately against me because I could have done better.
Exactly.
They're just like,
look. Dead air. Complete dead air. Like, and this one I feel like she wanted to say something, but just didn't.
I had a question, but it slipped right out. I did say that. I did have a question, but I forgot because I looked down at my phone and I was watching the chat again. I think right at this moment, my eyes were like, everyone was like, yo, what the fuck is with this guy? It was just like, they had nothing to say because they were not really attracted to me like that. The energy was not there. And I was not even feeling myself that much. So I could not even be 100%. So it was a dead situation.
I'm just cringing right now.
Couldn't be worse. Said Kentucky and what was the other one? Because I forgot at this point. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because when you're in a situation like this, like your brain is just so like flustered, especially when, you're worried about talking to two different people at the same time, right? And now your brain is also worried about what chat is saying about you. And then you're also worried about how many people are watching you. And so you have all these different things that are going on at once. You completely forget what the hell was happening just before. You are starting to blank. You don't remember what you ask, like who said what, anything. You start to forget things. And because you have so many things that are happening at one time that you're trying to watch and trying to look at, your brain would kind of wants to just blow the fuck up.
Exactly. And I already asked where they're from in the beginning, so there's no reason for me to bring it up again.
Exactly.
But my mind was so clustered and it's going, like, there were so many things going through it. I didn't even know. I actually forgot what they were from. So I was like, all right, let me see. Because my original thing in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get one of their Instagram, just go for it and get out of here. Because I forgot that I was gonna be critiqued at the end. So my plan was just to get one of the informations, one of the Instagrams, get out of there, give them my number, do it. Like I was just gonna go be super direct, but that's not the way of the show, and you can't go into someone's show on YouTube and disrespect the host. Can't do that.
Kansas City.
That's interesting. And I said that again because I didn't know what else to say.
I've always planned to travel to different states, but I've only been to PA and New York so far. So I don't know. Have you ever been to any of the other states?
Oh dang! Yeah, you haven't been to many so far.
Yeah, the pause button. I asked that question because I want to see if there was like a thing that I can get them to come to New Jersey to like meet one of them in person. So there was a methodology of the reason I asked where they're from again, because I had to think, okay, how can I get them to come drive to New Jersey to see? Because I'm not going to go. As I said, I'm not going to the military to smash, and I'm not going to Kansas City. So they got to come to me because I'm just not going to do it, or it's not going to happen and it's pointless. So that's why I asked again where they're from, so I could try to figure out a plan to get them to come to Jersey to see me. And now it sounds completely outrageous and probably impossible, but that's just. But I was more of a listen. This is gonna go somewhere or it's not. So I was like, might as well just put the chips down and just go for it anyway, because most likely this is not gonna go anywhere. But I want to at least take a chance. So I was in the direction to go super direct and get out of there because it's more of a take it or leave it at this point. It's not really going anywhere, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Oh, have you ever been out of the country?
Bermuda. That was a great cruise. A lot of stories that I can't talk about here, but which is true. He's like, which is true.
What stays in Bermuda stays there.
I forgot the catchphrase here at the pause button. See,
What
once again, my mind
Bermuda?
was messing up. I had a technical error in my brain. The correct statement was what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So what I was going to say, what happens in Bermuda stays in Bermuda, but I messed it up because I was looking at the chat again and I completely lost my train of thought. So once again, the vibe is done because I kept messing up my words and my energy was completely off, and they could sense that because the girls are very emotionally smart. You guys will know that if you approach a lot of girls. Girls are extremely
communication skills on point all the time.
Because these girls have been getting hit on since they were like 16 and shit, so they know the game. They already know what guys are like when they're, so they already knew that my shit was on pending delete.
Oh yeah,
my brain power was at a negative. I was just like, duh.
The alarms were blaring.
Yeah, this is dead.
You look at you. You're just like,
yeah. I was just out of it at this point. I'm just like, this is not going anywhere.
It's like you've been drinking.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
See, this is like, this is dead.
Like, yeah,
it's just the vibe is not there. There's no energy. There's nothing's going on here.
Yeah, it's very much dead air. You're not. You could have said something like you could have brought up like, have you, like, you could just been like, have you been out of the country, and like, where have you been out of the country?
I should have just been like, so let's find out how much gas money it would take to get you to come to Jersey. Like I could have just went there, but it was.
You like to read? I saw those books in the background.
Some books, some CDs. What kind of music do you like?
Shout out to Josie for getting something going in the conversation, because I was not. Because as the man, you should be leading the conversation, and I was not doing that. So,
yeah.
So F in the chat for me, because I did not lead the conversation in this instance. I said nothing. So she took the lead, which is what not should be happening, right? Because when women take the lead in a relationship, it's not good. Because women like to, not have to lead, right? Because that's what the man for. I do believe men should be leading a relationship, and I'm not leading the conversation. So if I can't lead the conversation, it's probably a dead interaction. So she decided to lead the interaction instead. And she commented something like an observation she made, which also sucks because she literally has a blank wall in back of her. So I can't make any observations about her and like anything because this is a blank.
Yeah.
Both of them, there's a blank.
I mean, like, if you look at Josie's thing, it looks like this kind of looks like she's like in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Kind of how this is set up, because
she's probably filming content for OnlyFans in there.
Yeah. That's true.
Who knows? You guys really don't know.
It looks like a TV over here too.
Maybe.
Which is weird because this is a couch.
I should have been like, can
weird.
you get up and like turn around for me so I could see like a full body? Like I probably should have done it. I should have just went a little bit of sexual in there. I could have made this a little more sexual innuendo. I could have had fun with it, but no, it was just completely boring. I did not lead the conversation, and then since I was not leading the conversation, she led the conversation and commented on something that was in the background. So there's that. Like,
I'm big into rap music, pop, Kind of anything really. I can.
See,
Someone can.
pause buttons. Right now, I'm not even listening, guys. I'm
Yeah,
failing.
look.
I'm
look
looking
at
at the chat again. I'm because literally I was not even in the moment. I was listening to her. I was hearing what she was saying, but at the same time, I was also in my own chat. I wasn't even in my.
You were not engaged in the conversation. You were listening, but you weren't engaged because a way to know that you're engaged is if you're looking at them.
And if you guys,
if you're making like eye contact or any type of contact like that at all, because if you're like looking at your phone or like looking at the sky and while they're speaking to you, then you're not engaging in the conversation. But if like you are looking at them in the eyes or looking at them just in general, then yeah, you are engaged in the conversation.
Yeah, it should have been a lot more. See, when you guys actually go up to girls in real life, you should be completely just looking at her the whole time, building that sexual tension, actually being in the moment. I was not in the moment. I was a little bit of everywhere. Things were not going as smooth, and both of them could sense it. They already know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much not going anywhere. So let's keep going.
Put on anything and I'll listen to it.
Okay.
What about you?
How about you, Madison?
Oh,
Now, see what? Oh God, this is so awesome.
You're having fun.
She literally, I would. This is how distracted I was by everything going on because she literally says, "How about you?" And I didn't answer.
You did not respond.
I didn't even answer her. I started asking Madison. So I just complete fail. I was once again not even engaged in the conversation. I was not paying attention. I was in.
Oh no!
I was in my own head. I was looking at the chat and I was so amused by what people were saying. And I was like, oh wow, I'm getting all this hate or everybody was trying to get me out. And everybody was just like, this guy sucks. And I was like, damn, that sucks. Like I wasn't getting mad about it, but I was just like, oh wow, damn, because I never been through this before.
Yeah.
So while she asked me what kind of music I like, I'm looking at the live chat, seeing what people were saying about me, just like being like, oh wow. So I was not in the moment. I was not feeling myself. I was not.
Luckily, in real life, when you're talking to someone in person, you don't have to worry about live chat talking about you. You can actually focus on the people you're talking to instead of worrying about chat.
Because I was like I found this whole thing so interesting that I was thinking more about
how it works.
How it works and the technical stuff rather than look, these two girls might be potential lovers. But I didn't even think about that because my mind was not focused on the pussy. My mind was literally focused on how this speed dating. And then I started thinking about how could I get something going like this on my YouTube channel that we do. So my mind was not even in this at all. So that's not good. I was not even trying to seduce these chicks at this point. At this point, I'm looking at, wow, this is really cool readout. We have two girls here. I'm here. There's a whole live chat. There's 300 people here. This is so cool. So, and then you got people saying how retarded I am in the comment section. So like all these things were intriguing me. And I was just like, and so she goes to ask me a question. And I said, I was like, oh yeah, let me get back. Oh, how about you, Matt? So what kind of music you like? And it completely, so
you completely blew her off too.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's so funny. And it gets even funnier when we get closer to the end of this.
Yeah.
Pretty much similar. Love rap, hip hop, pop, and
He
country
was like,
as
okay,
well. Like
fuck me then.
just depends on the song, but like really big into.
And look, you're looking down again.
And I'm looking.
You're looking at the chat. You're not even paying attention to what she's saying.
Yeah, guys, don't be like me. Make sure when you're talking to a woman, you're actually talking to them and not just.
Yeah, because like something
you don't want to be like that.
Yeah, because like okay, in the context of doing something like this, right? The best thing to do is when they're speaking, look into the camera lens because it pretty much simulates you looking at them in their eyes.
Yeah, like this.
Pretty much like this.
What I was doing, and I was looking at the computer the whole time. I was looking at them.
You're looking at
and then I was looking at how myself was, because I was thinking, damn, this is a bad angle. I don't really look good. So I was being superficial as well. And I was messing up my own vibe because I was staring at myself and then staring at the two girls and then staring at the live chat, staring at the door. Like I was not in this at all. My mind was not in the situation. Whenever you guys approach a girl in real life or at the bar, make sure you guys are completely focused in the conversation and trying to build tension with the girl instead of looking over there. I wonder what he's looking at. Don't be like me in this situation, guys. Don't be like me.
Yeah.
So let's keep going.
A lot of genres.
Okay. You both seem pretty cool so far. I don't know what the time thing is.
Okay,
which
yeah,
is true
so
because I don't know.
yeah, this is I think this is towards the end of your thing. So I think this is where your brain was just like, all right, I need to try to get somebody and get the fuck
Yeah,
out of
exactly. Because I was
here.
like, I don't know, because I didn't know if like you get X'd out or they just take you out. Alex comes in and says, okay, well that guy did this wrong, this right, and stuff like that. I was just like, all right, well let me just wrap this up because it's whatever.
It's not going anywhere.
I like to be direct. I like to shoot my shot no matter what. Even if I feel like it's going bad, I'm gonna be like, hey, you should take my number down. We can get a drink going sometime and get to know each other a little bit better. So this is when I just go completely direct and just kind of try to finish it out. But I think I kind of like Josie's vibe a little bit more. No offense, Madison or anything. And of course,
No,
I knew how to choose one. So here's what we're gonna do because I know we don't got much time left. So Josie, I'm gonna drop my Instagram in the chat.
Now, initially when we first talked about you going on here and doing this, I thought you were gonna tell them to drop their Instagram in the chat.
I was going to, but then I realized that the chat everyone was going to start DMing them, not because if they dropped their Instagram in the thing, everyone would have started following them, and then they would have got a bunch of DMs to the people in the live chat and everything. So I was like, okay, let me go drop mine instead because I don't think many people are going to DM me unless it's like you're an idiot, and I would have been like, okay, whatever,
Cool,
yeah, cool, bro. So I was like, so this is when I decided to be very direct, and I'll do this in person too. Like at the end of an interaction, I'll be like, all right, so you should take my number down. And you call me later tonight, or call me at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, something like that. And let's talk a little bit. And then we could set up a plan of a day and time to meet. Or what I'll do is, I actually really like your style, like your vibe. What we'll do is take my number down and let's plan to hang out Friday at 8 p.m. at this place. Like, I'll just be very direct. I'll tell them what's going down. I'll tell them the plan because as a man, you should be leading, right? So I let them know what's going down. And then if they're into it, they're going to be like, all right, cool. What's your number? And then I give them my number and I get out of there. And I'll say, have a good day. Or they're not interested. So I have a boyfriend, so I'm not interested. No, thank you. Or they'll be like, kill yourself. And I'll be like, okay, cool. No problem. Have a good day.
No problem. It's fine.
So let's see how this goes. So what I want you to do is I want you to follow me. It's going to be, I'll put it in the chat. My name and the thing is Andrew K. So go into that and you'll find my Instagram. So follow me. I'll follow you back. And then you could DM me your personal number and we can get maybe like a FaceTime going behind the scenes because can't really have the best conversation on a live platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
See, no, like,
okay, cool. And then never hear from her again, get blocked.
Yeah, like, I mean, like the way that you were direct about that was probably the best part of the whole thing. However, everything that happened before this kind of ruins everything.
Well, you have to also remember, guys, we're going to remind you guys again that these girls know that they got 300 people watching, and who knows if they're watching the live chat too. So everyone is just like, I think the chat at the time was like, oh, this guy's running, he's scared. But in reality, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to get kicked off or what the thing was.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, let me get the information before. And she was like, okay, even though she's probably just saying that just to get rid of me.
And I also think the chat was just like, is he really going to drop his his IG in the chat?
I was, and the reasoning behind this was, well, if she, and I knew I had to choose one because most likely I'm not going to get both with the energy that I put out. It's just not going to happen. So I was like, let me choose one. Let me give the Instagram down. Let me get the Instagram so then I can get the number and I call. So I was like, you know what? Even if this doesn't go well, I'm going to at least shoot my shot and go for it. You know what I mean? So I was like, worst comes to worst, I get shoot down, no problem. But at least, like I said, I went for it.
Yeah.
And she was literally like, okay. So I was like, oh, well, all right. So I'm going to get out of here and I'll shoot my Instagram.
Oh.
And then here comes Alex.
Hold up! Don't leave him before the feedback. Let's
my bad. Yeah, I'm new to this. So this is when I was like, oh, this is how he does it. Because I was gonna turn off the camera and get out of there. But I was like, oh wait, we got to do the feedback. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, let me stick around for this. No problem. And I'm gonna go with the way the show is formatted. I'm not gonna disrespect the host. So he came in, and at this point the girls are just intrigued. They're like, this guy.
Yeah,
this motherfucker.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so let's go one by one. So Madison, i.e., formerly known as Maddie, would you go on a date with Andrew?
No.
Okay, Josie.
But it's weird.
Well, I didn't choose her. So
yeah, I mean, granted, I understand why she would say no. But,
yeah, I had to choose one. So the odds are the ones I did not choose. She's not gonna be like, oh yeah, of course, because I literally just said sorry.
I mean, granted, I don't know what happens immediately after this. I don't know if like he asks why or not, but it's weird that they don't like say why, at least in the beginning.
I would not know.
Okay. What do you think he could have done better?
I would say kind of just there was a lot of like pausing. There was some like awkward moments where nobody was saying anything. Exactly. I feel like he could have asked us a couple more questions and got
your face. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're right. No, because I agreed with her. She's
Yeah.
right. I could have got some sexual tension going. I could have asked the ethnicity. I could ask more background questions. I could have. There's such a variety of questions I could have asked, or so many topics we could have delved into. I could have gone into a personal funny story about something, or like a friend of mine in the military. There's so many opportunities for conversation, but I just was not into it. I was not in the moment. I was not at my best self at the moment. So it did not go anywhere. And they knew that. So what they're saying is actually, that's correct. That's all the points we're laying out now. So that's another thing. If a girl shoots you down in front of 300 people online, the worst thing you can do is be like, what the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean? No, this went so well. I mean, that would have been a great troll if I did that. If I was just like, why? Things are going so well. Like, that would have been an epic troll.
Because then they would just, bro, the whole chat would have been blowing up.
That would have destroyed her reputation and would have hurt everything. Yeah. But what I did, I remained cool because I was like, you know, they are right. I could have done better. So they're right. So you can't be hating on women if they reject you, which is cool. You move on to the next, no problem. This is not going to be the last live stream ever. People are going to go on after me. It's not going to matter. And in real life, I'm going to go to the bar next week. I'm going to hit on some more chicks in person and everything's going to be fine. A lot of people have scarcity mentality. But I'll say, like, a big problem is that if a guy gets rejected, like, by a girl in person, they take it so harshly. If one girl shoots you down and says, no, thank you, I'm not interested, so many guys will get in their feelings. They'll binge drink. They'll eat McDonald's for dinner, like, just because one girl said no. But in reality, it's cool. It's just a woman, and you just move on to the next, no problem. It's not about the woman. It's about you. The game is about you. It's about what you got and who you are and what you want next. So just because 2 girls shoot you down doesn't mean there's not 100 more that want you out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good. So I took this criticism fine. I'm looking at the live chat. I'm more enamored by the chat than I am the girls. So I'm completely not even on my shit. Complete F for me, guys. F in the chat for me.
Goes to a speed date.
Goes to a speed date. Looks at the chat.
Pays more attention to the chat than the women.
Yeah. I was more interested in the concept of this whole thing rather than getting the girl.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
And they're right. Yeah, they're right.
It felt just like a little bit more like interviewing a little bit, like not so much back and forth, just kind of like him asking his question after question. So there wasn't as
because I was not building any tension or anything. It was literally just some basic questions that didn't even matter.
Like band.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry. Yeah. No, you're right. Like you could have, if you weren't so interested in chat, you probably could have like continued with whatever specific topic that you initially started with. So like, you had because like when you talked about the military, when you had like the military thing, you could have had a whole big conversation about the military right there. Like just had like,
even though I would have had to switch it to Josie eventually because once again you have to balance out the two, which once again that's why I go back to I should have just chose one, but because I want to get ahead of the line. And I wanted to get on as quick as possible because I'm just an impatient bastard. So I was trying to get on there as quickly as possible. And he said that if you're going for both girls, you can come on quicker. So it's like, oh, yo, let me get both. Cause I'm trying to get in here and see what's up. Because that's just me though. That's me just rushing things. And I also had to go home because once again, this is the all game studio, right? This is not my own house. So I had to go home and do some stuff. So I was like, all right, let me get on and get this over with now. So there's also that.
Yeah.
Enter.
Yeah, I think my little Maddie hit the nail on the head. It felt like a job interview.
Absolutely.
It didn't really feel like a guy flirting with girls, right? There was really no sexual interest or vibing or flirting. It was just like a job interview. So, what do you girls do for fun? Oh, do you like pizza or hot dogs more, right? But it lacks that like kind of like flirty, fun conversation. Now, look, when you're on a date with 2 girls or whatever, it's hard to build a lot of sexual tension, but you can still flirt.
Yeah, because you have to split your sexual tension between 2 different people. It's a lot easier to do that with the one because you have to make sure that you're keeping interest into like keeping your interest in both of them at the same time. And if you're talking to one more than the other one's going to be disinterested, and it's going to be hard to get that one back on track. It's very difficult to do 2 at the same time. Some people can do it, but if you're if it's like your first time trying to do this stuff, you're a little overwhelmed by everything. So it can be hard. It really can.
And have a little bit of sexual tension, right? A little bit of flirting back and forth. I think you can do. Like for example, with the whole thing, like I wrote this down. When she was talking about that she's an Army officer, instead of saying I don't want to join the Army, I wouldn't say that. I would instead say something.
Look, you're looking at chat. You're not even paying attention to Alex.
Yeah.
Oh man, Alex must be mad at you.
Like, so if I join, can you pull some strings, allow me to sleep in until 2 p.m.? Like,
it looked like you're also falling asleep.
Yeah, I was pretty tired at this point.
I'd make a joke out of it, right? Like something like that. I'd be like, all right, so you got my back in the army, right? So if I fuck up, you're gonna cover up the tracks for me. I don't know. I'll just like get into like some like fun, playful role play there. And then I would involve Josie, like, Josie, so okay, so if I join the army, will you join the army with me? Maddie has said that she's going to pull some strings, so we're not going to have to do any push-ups or anything, right? And then I'll kind of like try to involve both girls.
No, we got to do push-ups. I'm sorry.
And like just try to create something that's like interactive. I'd be like, all right, Josie, how about this? Me and you become Navy SEALs, and then in 5 years we can like order Maddie around because we're going to have like higher army supremacy than her, even though it doesn't really work that way because they're different branches. But anyway, ignore the logical fallacy there, but you get the point. That's kind of what something along the lines of what I would have done.
You hit the pause real quick. Let's give a quick shout out to Alex again. Well, he was one of the first, like, because he was at like 50,000 subs when we interviewed him. We did that podcast a while back. You guys could check it out. Put it in the like a description, and it was good. It was a pretty good conversation. It was like during the Corona days.
Yeah,
and,
right in the beginning.
Alex has some pretty good game. Just a shout out to him. And pay our respects to him for doing these speed dates and allowing me to have You guys can check out his website, playingfire.com. He helps guys with like their dating. Their texting methods with girls, and he also helps with like
Tinder profiles and stuff.
Yeah, Tinder profiles, how to text girls. He also does like how to approach a girl, and he helps you guys teach. He teaches guys how to be better with women. So shout out to him. He's doing some good work out there. Yep. So you guys can follow him. Playing with Fire is his YouTube channel. Definitely a shout out to him. So let's continue. Cool. Yeah, understood.
Cool. All right, man.
Hit the button. Yeah, so this is me taking rejection pretty well because I was kind of just chill about it. I wasn't very upset about it because once again I already pretty much knew that the girls were not gonna. I'm not having sex with either of these two girls, and I'm not going to different states. I'm not going to military. They're not coming to Jersey to see me, so that's not happening. So I was just like, I was just cool with it. I was like, all right, cool. Even though the live chat was coming at me, I wasn't really bothered because I was just like, all right, cool. I didn't get emotional about it. I was just chill about it. I was like, oh, this is fun. So that is good because you guys get emotional way too easily out there. So if this happens to one of you guys, a lot of people will get emotional and they'll start getting mad, and you'll be able to see it from their facial expressions, and they'll be extremely uncomfortable. But I was just kind of like, all right, cool. Like I was just super calm about it, and I was also tired. So I was, I was. Anything more to say like that?
Not really. Like you hit the nail on the head. You did what you had to do, and like you were already ready to get the hell out of there. So like you were just like, yep.
Because my original plan was to get the Instagram, just get out of there anyway. So I was like, all right, cool. Overtime, stay for the critique. I'm down. I wasn't really bothered because I'm always about becoming better and learning from my mistakes. That's what we preach about this channel. So me sticking around for the critique was absolutely necessary, because I could find out what I did wrong. How could I improve? And that's what we try to, that's why we do videos and live streams. And we started this channel in the first place to just become better. That's the whole message of the entire channel that we do, is to become better. So the fact that I went on here, got blown out, didn't know what I was doing, complete fail. It was good. This is a good thing. Yeah. I went through failure. Now I can take this experience and make myself better from it. And that way everyone can sort of go away with a better feeling. So this is good. Things like this happening are good, and it's a good experience. It's good to put yourself out there and try something new. No matter what happens, at least you could say that you tried and that you were not a pussy and you decided to go in there and give it your all. So keep going,
buddy.
Right too.
All right. Now you guys are joining in force. Now
that's it.
Yeah. So shout out to that interaction. So yeah, that was it. It was kind of fun. It was very interesting. It was more interesting than fun, I guess, because of the obvious of what happened. But it was actually a good experience, and I'm very glad that I went in. And it's good for you guys to get in out of your comfort zone and try something new. That way, you don't know who you are till you've known what you've been through. So the fact that I went in there and had a interesting conversation and a good back and forth, even though it wasn't that good, but you guys get the point. And also shout out to every guy that has the balls to go into those kind of things, knowing that there's going to be a bunch of people watching you, even though they might be nervous, they're still going in anyway. And there's a lot of guys who go in there and they are visibly nervous, but they're trying anyway. I love, like, in person, when I've only seen like 2 instances in my life where I've seen someone else go out talk to a girl, like not talking about bars or anything. I'm talking about just in regular life. I don't really get to see anyone ever go up to a woman and start talking to her. I'd never see that unless they're drunk or they're an idiot. But I see plenty of that, a bunch of creeps. But I never see like a guy genuinely just want to go up to a girl, start talking to her, and try to get her number. I don't really see that. So for any guy who goes onto a public platform like that, gives it their all, tries to go flirt with a girl, 100% respect. And shout out to those guys, because those guys are better than the guys who sit back and are too scared to ever even do something like that. So every guy that has the balls to go into one of these streams or even go up to a girl in real life and start talking to them, 100% shout out and respect to them, because at least they're trying to become better. At least they're putting in that effort to try to become something more, to improve their mindset in every way. And and all these experiences are going to make you become stronger. And you're going to have to, you could at least say that you tried. So just the fact that you tried, and even though I got blown out, I'm so thankful that I did it, because at least I had a sense of who I am. Now I know a little bit more about myself and what I would go through in these kind of situations. And if I decide to do it again, it'll be a little bit easier, even though I probably won't be 100% like if I go back again. At least I'll be a little more like prepared. But it's not even about that. It's about me and it's about you. It's when you do stuff like this, and it makes you stronger than you ever thought you could imagine, because you actually put yourself out there and you give it your all, which is all anybody could really ask for. Mike, what else? What you say on that?
Yeah.
What you say?
What you say? Yeah. The whole experience is very interesting on, watching you do it, and, and watching it back over. And going on there is probably very nerve-wracking, but at the same time, there's a lot of distractions that can cause you to fail. There's a lot of things that can cause you to fail doing things like this, also in real life. But I feel like there are more when you are in the in the sphere of online. Not only do you have to worry about the people that you're interacting with, but the people that are interacting about you on the on the sidelines you have to worry about, and then you have to worry about the perception of how you look and all those other things. They can be very distracting, and if you're not centered on the things, on like the mission, the whole reason why you're doing it, if you're not focused and you're not prepared to to go in and do what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to fail. And that is what happened here in this specific situation. Andrew was not prepared. He was he was distracted by all the different types of things, like how the camera angle looked, the chat specifically, how many people were watching. He was more focused on how the process is made, how the whole entire show is pretty much developed and made, because that's just a business mindset of trying to figure out how things are done to be possibly replicated. And he wasn't focused on the mission, which was going on a date with 2 women at the same time, and finding trying to get sexual attention to get one of them to want to go on a date with him, which clearly didn't happen.
Exactly. We encourage anyone watching this, you should definitely try to go on one of these things and test your skills and see how you can do. I think it's very important to always go out of your comfort zone and try some new things and see what you can prepare to handle. And no matter what the chat says, no matter what anybody says, you need to do whatever you want to do, and you got to act the way you got to be, who you are, no matter what the case, no matter what criticism you get. That's all part of the journey. It's all necessary. So I think that's all we got for today. Anything? Any other thoughts?
I want to give a shout out to Alex for playing for fire. If you guys decide that you want to actually do something like that, go to his channel, follow him on his channel. And I don't know exactly when he does them, but if you go into his channel, you'll see how many times he does it in like in a week. You could probably find a day where he usually puts it up early. I think he usually tries to put up like the live stream early, just so people are aware that it's happening. So if you do want to actually go on and try it out for yourself, I say definitely go do that.
Absolutely. So guys, with that said, make sure you guys hit the like button on the video, help us out, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And you guys can leave a comment, let us know what you guys think on the situation. And you could donate to the Cash App, link in the description below. The funds go towards the equipment for this channel. We put a lot of hard work into this stuff. So if you guys want to know more or have more cool conversations like this, let us know, and we'll come back to you very soon with another video or podcast.